Nah.
In case y'all know what I'm drinking, it's a margarita.
And we are live.
Margarita.
Welcome to Out of the Draft podcast. This is everyone here. Dylan. We got AKA Stat Boy, AKA Dylan as well. Mitch and Nick. Everyone say hello. And
What's up?
How's it going?
by the way, last week's podcast had the most views.
Really?
20. Which was nice.
Was
Not live.
We don't need Stat Boy and Nick. We don't need y'all.
Like not live, but like after
Right,
the
overall.
week, yeah, it was 20, which is really nice. I
That's
love
good.
To see that.
So how many times did you watch it?
I did not watch it.
14.
I didn't watch it at all, which is
No,
good.
the only one that I've watched completely was the first one. Other than that, like I've only seen like a couple clips here and there.
Cool. Yeah, same. I let you go back to a certain point, and I just forget that. But
Right.
last week
Mostly like to go back and picks.
yeah picks.
Yeah. That's what I go back for. Like, what did I say again? Yeah.
Which we'll
You
get
write
to
'em
that
down?
at the very end of those, which is nice.
Yeah, I got a notebook now, boys.
Hey,
I ain't gotta go back and look no more. No more views from this guy.
Well, mine are hanging on the wall right there, so
Hey.
I got mine right there.
So we'll jump into the last week's race at Dover. Pretty much started the race. Martin Truex Jr. had the first position because he won last week. So you know the way they do the qualifying format.
Real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Real quick, going back to Dover. First week back, that no masks were needed in the garage, so making gains.
Drivers got to go spend times with their crew chiefs.
Yep.
And their crew guys, which was awesome. I mean, granted,
thing to
they
see.
see them at the shop, but at the shop's one thing, at the track's different.
It's just
Right.
a different feel and stuff like that. So,
Right. It feels more normal. You know?
honestly, and then so in the pre-race show they had like all the drivers was coming up to Jeff, Clinton, and Mike, or not Mike Joy, but Chris.
Chris Myers.
Yeah. Before the race, and they were just sitting there talking, and of course they were maskless as well, and it was just a really cool sight to see. It felt normal. The track itself, it felt like there's a lot of fans there, even though it was 50% capacity. But it felt great, which is nice. But coming in first couple laps, Truex kind of pulls away, and then around lap 12, Willie B takes the lead, starting 5th, by the way. So he went through the field really quick. And I personally thought after that point right there that it was going to be a game changer. Like, I was like, wow, he's really got speed on a track that is physically demanding. So I was like, whoa, this should be a really good day for him.
And that's really good, but this is the only time we come to this track. We lost the spring or the playoff date for Nashville Speedway.
Yeah,
so that changes a lot of things.
Honestly, I think it's good because Dover's is one of those tracks that I didn't like us going twice a year because, I mean, it's Dover. You got a lot of green flag racing. Yes, it was really out of control. It was really fun to drive on for the driver's perspective, but for entertainment-wise, it really is not useful for 2 races a year. But, like, going through the first stage, of course, Larson ended up getting the lead, winning stage 1. But Chase ended up finishing 5th, right? And he started in the rear of the field, which is his 5th time this year. Already started in the rear out of 13 races, which is
4th.
No, 4th from failing inspection, 5th from in general.
Oh, okay, okay.
Trash.
Yeah, absolute garbage.
Yep.
Doesn't deserve last year's championship. He sucks.
I mean, if anything, he worked for his.
They should strip him.
He started at the rear.
They should strip him.
Honestly, it starts in the rear again this weekend. Just strip him from it, right?
Yeah. But like, what the fuck were we thinking? Giving that shit to him?
Just give it straight to Kevin. Didn't even make the Final Four. No, but and then of course stage 2, Chase was able to get the 2nd, and that's when Larson really had the competition at that point because Chase really stayed about 1 second to about 2 the whole stage, like literally.
I don't think he dropped. I think the furthest he got back was 1.6,
and
if you look at it, that was only because of traffic. Anything else after traffic, he was within a second every time.
Yeah, but they were so equal that they really couldn't pass, and that was just a really thing bad about it. And then by the end of stage 2, Hendrick Motorsports was end up 1, 2, 3, 4. which was really crazy. Larson.
First time in company history for them.
Yeah. And since 2005, that was the first time they finished like that as well. But at the end of stage 2, Larson was the leader, Chase was second, Alex Bowman, then Byron. And then going to stage 3, nothing really happening besides like a bumper to Alfredo from Stenhouse, which, I mean, that's your normal Alfredo and Stenhouse caution that happens weekly. So that was just funny. But it wasn't really exciting. And then after that caution, Bowman beat Larson off of pit road. His team, which, Stabboy can say this, his team had the fastest pit crew of any team all this season, which that's super impressive. Not only did Hendrick bring a great set of cars, but they also brought the team's momentum up, and which I think that has to do with, like, without the mass and all the teams being together again, I feel like that kind of helped the intensity.
They're almost hyping. They're all hyping each other up and stuff. And
yeah, it was probably a different, like, feel.
Right.
And then, of course, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say a little bit different of an atmosphere for them as well.
For sure. And then legit, they finished that way. Bowman taking the win, the second person to win multiple races, and he is actually the lowest person in points by win wise, which is super funny. And he has 2 wins. Truex has 3. The rest has 1. But that statement that Hendrick made, I mean, me and Mitch, we talked about this last week. We were like, oh, this summer stretch is going to be a normal Hendrick, going to fall off, not really do well, test some things out. They completely...
Yeah, were we wrong? We were wrong.
I mean, they destroyed the field. Like, it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Like, it was... So from Bowman to Chase, it was 3 seconds. From Chase to Willie, that was 6 seconds. And then for the rest of the field, that was 14.
Yeah.
So like, it wasn't even close.
And if you realistically look at it, 5th position was Kevin Harvick until like 3 to go. Joey Logano was the lap when came in. He
had the fresh tires.
Yeah. That's all the only reason he was able to get back by.
Yep.
And then Chevy in general finished like 7 of the top 10, right? Something like that.
Yeah. They killed it.
Actually, no, 6 of the top 10 because Custer actually got a top 10, which is really nice for Stewart Haas Racing.
Did he?
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
So
I knew he was running 11th with a couple to go. I didn't realize he got 10th though. Yeah, that's good for him.
He got 9th.
9th. Okay.
No, it was 10th.
Okay,
it was 10th.
Suarez was 9th.
Good for him, and that was also the same strategy call that Logano was on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, realistically, that was the right call for them. Good strategy call late in the run. Pick up a couple spots, pick up a couple points. It's good for them. They're at least some of the Stewart Haas cars are kind of turning the page. Others are flipping backwards.
The other 2 blue tires, but poor Almirola, man. 30th in points. Just
it's none. That's
he's 28. He's close to outside the top 30. The next 30th in points, I believe, is Corey LaJoie.
Yeah.
And that's about 100 points out. However, the Corey LaJoie is at least finishing races.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's sad.
It's getting to the point where even if he wins, he may be outside that top 30 and doesn't get that spot.
But what's crazy is if he does win, he makes it to the playoffs.
No. If he's outside the top 30 in points, he does not get a spot.
Like, if he's right here right now, and he makes, let's say
he's in.
He's in. Let's say he's 28th in points, right? He gets a win at Daytona. Okay, he's in the playoffs. Okay, what if he goes off and wins the championship? Look how stupid that looks. Like, you realize that?
I mean, I agree.
He's not capable of that.
I agree. He's not capable. But just imagine that he does make it into the playoffs and somehow miraculously wins the championship.
That's crazy.
For one, that would absolutely require at least 1 win per round, because he's gonna be dead last every single round. Yeah. We already know that.
He's gonna have to win stages,
He's going to absolutely have to perform to get even to the top 4. But if he does, although it looks stupid, that would be a hell of a story. Amarillo has a fucking horrendous year. Horrendous.
Yeah.
And turns it around and wins the championship. I mean, that'd be a hell of a story. It really would.
Honestly, for entertainment purposes, it would be perfect. Like, it would.
Right, and then on top of that, everyone would be like, "Who the hell's Amarillo?"
like all these new Nascar fans has been really coming in, especially from football, all these ex-football players,
football
really
and basketball guys as well.
Really getting into the sport, they're promoting it as well, which is awesome. That's what I think is gonna propel us in our future, right?
Right.
Because I know, Stat Boy here. I know you watched the I Am Athlete podcast, right? You watched it, right? Yep. When they did the podcast with Dale Jr. and Kyle Busch, they all said it was a different perspective. They're actually seeing it in a different perspective, and it makes people want to watch it. And even the comments are saying, "I'm going to tune in this weekend."
Really?
Yeah. So
that's great.
The fact that we're getting that publicity for free is just insane, right?
Right.
And that's just great. It's wonderful. Where did that take me? Oh yeah, because of Amarillo. Right. Everyone's gonna look at that and be like, "Who is this guy?" Right?
All the new people will be like, "Didn't he wreck every race? The first 20 races? What?
How many races has he wrecked at so far?"
So
all of them?
All of them but one, I think. Literally. And that's
all of them but the Richmond one. And then I think one other, but yeah. I mean, we were looking at his stats last week. He has one top 10, which was at Richmond, and then other than that, his best finish was 16. And then besides that, it was all 27th or worse.
Yeah. It's awful.
So yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
Rick Ware is doing okay. That says a lot. Which
that brings me back to me and Nick was talking earlier this week about Amarillo, and I had the question if this is a contract year. I wasn't sure. He obviously answered the question for me. It is a contract year for Amarillo. He's not going to be back unless he miraculously wins the fucking championship somehow. He's not going to be back.
Even if he wins the championship, I don't see him being back. The reason being, this championship is all about getting right or getting
winning
at the right time, about winning. He could win just towards the back half of the season. However, you still need some consistency throughout the entire year. You look at Chase Elliott. How many, other than you take Atlanta away in small little mishaps, he's been finishing, top 15 every week in and week out. Granted, he hasn't won a race, but that puts him, I think, 11th in points, or 11th or 12th.
Seventh, yep.
No, I'm talking about the playoff standard.
Oh, okay.
Because he doesn't have a win.
But
technically 12th, I think, because I think Kevin's ahead of him. I don't know after this weekend.
Kevin's behind.
It changed after this weekend? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because I was going to say, I don't know about after that. But I know previously Kevin had 10 points over him, something like that. But
those two are flipping it every week.
You bring that up which is really crazy to know, really crazy to think about, because Chase Elliott's top 5 and top 10s are better than Larson and Bowman. Okay? So, the only reason why Larson is looking different is because of the laps he's leading, the
stage wins,
and just the win in general, right?
Right.
But if you look at his season overall, you're choking a lot of race wins that you should have. Atlanta.
5 second place finishes this year.
Yeah.
I still kind of not that I feel bad for Larson about it, but I still understand why, because this is the best equipment he's had. I feel like he's really having to do a lot of learning on how to manage it and not just burn it up, And
that's the problem that he had with the 42, because he would overdrive.
Right. Right. He would have to even try and have a shot at it. Versus now he don't have to, so now it's just a matter of managing it and making it last as long as you can, and in certain situations, obviously. But So I feel like he's still doing a lot of learning. And on top of that, obviously Hendrick is different than Chip Ganassi. And as well as he was basically out all year. Pretty much. I mean, he only raced 4 races last season.
Yeah, like his last before the first 750 package this year, his last 750 package was 2018. Just think of that. So like him getting these tracks like this is not in his wheelhouse right now. Like
right. He's having to do a lot of learning again. Yeah.
Which that's super impressive.
So I do have some stats here on Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. Average finishing position, even though Kyle Larson has had some bad finishes because of the blown engine blown engine at Talladega and things like that. Kyle Larson, average finishing position 11.8 to Chase Elliott's 14.1.
Wow.
However, Chase's average running position is 11.79.
What's Larson's running? Probably like
I didn't get that stat. I'm gonna guess his is probably around a 7.
Yeah. I would say a 7 because
you can see he runs really well.
Throughout the race, he just can't. There's something about him with like an 8th rest of the way. Okay, like I wouldn't even say a 4th. Like I feel like you got that part too. It's that 1/8 that he struggles with, like 20 to go.
It reminds me a lot of like Kurt Busch back in his like 2005 to like 9 days, 2005 to 9. He burned his shit up a lot. Yeah. He was always super fast, man. I mean, like blow him out the water fast through the first half of the race, and then the second half it was just like, where the hell did he go? You know, is it down the cylinder?
What year was the Chase for the Cup first implemented?
05 or 4?
2004? Yep. You do know who won that, right?
Yeah, Bush.
Yeah. I know. But that's why I said 05 to 9.
Sure.
But, no, I mean, even in 04 too, though, Bush, he burned up his stuff a lot because obviously we know him. He's very hot-headed. I feel like he was a lot like Kyle Busch differently, but because we obviously know who's the more talented of the two.
Much of that was because of Jimmy Spencer, though.
Yeah, but no, I just feel like he just burned up his stuff a lot for a long time until he started to kind of reach that descend of his mindset cooling down a little bit. He was just such an angry fucking driver. I feel like he was full throttle as much as he could.
Talking about Bowman, I know that we just heard over the weekend that he is in talks with having another contract extension, and as well, Hendrick was open. Like he's the one. I saw that. That he's like, we're in talks about his next contract, which is great. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to get another multi-year deal. I think like 3 to 4 years.
I say 2 to 3. I say 3 years. I don't see them going much farther than 4. I think it also heavily depends on Ally's commitment.
I think they're fully committed, honestly.
So
they say they are, but they said they were fully committed to Jimmy Johnson when they first came in.
Jimmy Johnson wasn't winning, though.
Yeah.
True.
And like, so this is the first time that Ally was in victory lane at Richmond, right? So like, and they've got 2 of them now. Like they're like, oh, this is. Because
they're like, holy cow,
this is fun.
Yeah, this is
right.
Yeah, because like being in victory with all those pictures, you still get revenue from that, right? Because like,
absolutely.
So like the social media aspect of it is probably flying off the roof. Like
I'm sure.
They have no idea. And especially with them being with Bernard, I don't know if y'all know who that is. The football player.
Yeah.
So he's actually sponsored by Al as well. So like he's like doing a lot of stuff with them and iRacing and NASCAR in general, which is crazy, right?
I'm sure that's all within the sponsored deal, though. But either way, it all creates good publicity. But
and then they're also like sponsoring a whole race at Nashville. So like the Ally 400, that's going to be insane. I mean,
LA has stepped up the game tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just hope they don't go from being a car sponsor as a priority to
a track
kind of like how track sponsor, kind of like how Camping World is right now. Look at how many,
right. But I mean, at the same time, we saw Geico sponsor Dega forever, and also have Geico on the 13 car.
Yeah, and then
I know. Well, they didn't throw much money that way.
I know, but you know what I mean, though.
Well,
I mean, it's
well,
throw much money that way.
They probably
we don't know what they were getting.
No, the problem is they probably did.
Yeah.
And like they had Casey Mears in the car first. What's that going to do? Like you put him in a Hinder car, he wins one win, and it was fuel mileage.
Yeah.
In 2007, when they were running, they had their best year ever, and he could only win one race under fuel mileage.
On fuel.
That was Gordon's last great run too.
Yeah. Well, besides, no, because 2015 or 2014, he was like really good.
He was really good. However, wasn't 2007 when the COT came out.
Shut up.
Yeah, it was like the half year, half not.
Which is where Hendrick, pretty much, if you were Hendrick, you were dominant.
Well, they asked Hendrick this week if he thinks that they're going to beat the 2007 record, where they won 18 races that year. I
think that's too hard to do.
I personally don't think so. He literally said, "I think we can blow it out of the water." That was his.
I think they win every race.
Well, yeah. When was that asked? Like this week?
Yeah, it was this week. It was like
he'd have to win every race the rest of the season.
Well, no. You're talking about the new car.
No.
Oh, the new car. Okay,
no,
I'm sorry. I thought you meant this year.
year.
That's what I was like, what?
He's talking about this year. Yeah.
There ain't no fucking way.
Like
they got 4 wins. They better get going.
Yeah, they only have 4 wins, but
they're counting on Chase to win 10.
Charlotte, Coda,
they're literally counting on
Sonoma,
all the
Watkins,
courses, and as well as other races, as well as Larson, right?
Charlotte, Larson can win.
Well, so with my picks, obviously I'm not going to say who my picks are for the next 2 weeks, but I think that they will beat Richard Petty Motorsports win record at the Coke 600. So that tells you.
What are they at right now? They're like 4 behind.
No, they're one below.
One below.
I thought they just tied it with Bowman's.
No,
because I think they're previously like 2 or 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, look at this. They could beat it. Charlotte. I don't know. Coda, Charlotte, Sonoma. There you go.
They could beat it in the next 3 very well.
They're not gonna win Charlotte. I don't think. Not 600. I think we're gonna see like a fuel mileage win there.
It's 400 lap segments.
Yeah.
I know, but I think we're gonna see a fuel mileage win there.
We
didn't last year.
Honestly, we haven't seen a fuel mileage race since stage racing has been involved, which is kind of good.
Yeah, I mean, here and there you see them depending on cautions, but I honestly think they're gonna run the race really fucking well. I think they're gonna run it almost like a road course this year, since it's so fucking long. They're gonna be like, look, fuck, we'll pit when we need to pit, point blank.
Short pit, like really
right.
Short pit, yeah.
Right.
I think it's going to depend on tires again.
Well, I mean that's true too. So they might make that decision after stage 1, but
yeah,
they're going to split the stages in half every time.
Well, no, so it's either going to be split it in half, okay,
or they're going to do 3. Yeah.
So
I think they're going to split it in thirds.
So they're going to have 35 lap segments, roughly. Yeah. 35 laps.
What package are they running there?
The 550.
550.
So it'll be split up in halves.
Yeah, it'll be split halves. Yeah.
No tire fall off. Literally full throttle. So.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. I mean, it could come down to an odd caution though, like with 75 to go or something. You know.
Well, or we could see what we saw at Vegas and Homestead this year, and I'd be cool. I'd be happy because.
What, Byron win or what? Just green?
No, like how good the racing was with the 550. That's what.
I like the stages. I think I've been starting to get more and more on board with this. I think they just need to race through the stages. If you're leading at that point, you get the stage points. Just race through it, though.
That's actually not a bad idea. I didn't think about doing that, but I do understand the point in throwing the caution because it creates excitement. It allows them all to come down and pit.
They're still going to do it.
It's great. But
think about it though. Somebody's going to short pit that, or they're going to mess up and they're going to short pit and they're going to lose on stage points.
That's actually not.
But they may gain on the back end.
Right. That's actually not a bad idea. Say, screw it. We don't need the cautions. We can still throw a stage point. Like, hey, one to go on the stage. You're currently running 11th. Come down pit road. Like,
yeah. You're not, that next guy's 3 seconds ahead of you. You ain't catching him. Get on pit road right now.
it's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. That's that would provide a different type of entertainment, though. It would provide a strategy entertainment.
It would, because if you look at, like, say, Coke 600, yes, it's an awesome race. We saw a lot of people who don't normally win. That's generally a race they win because it's on the crew chiefs. A lot of these crew chiefs are smart, but the drivers just don't have the talent, or they don't have the funding to be as competitive as, the teams that are up front. That's where they generally get that win. That would put it back in that perspective, which would cause us to have that wild card make the playoffs.
That's actually interesting. I mean, obviously, I don't think we're ever going to see that, sadly.
We'll never see
I do personally like that idea. That's not a bad idea, especially for like something like an all-star race or some shit.
So
Fuck it, let them run it, but technically not.
So my problem with that, okay, literally my problem with this, like, let them run through it. I would say just get rid of it. Okay, so here's why. Because if we do give that, here's the points for this lap, right? There would be no gain afterwards, right? So, like, if we just run through it literally like a regular Bristol race, right? It's 125 laps. Every pit stop is 75 laps usually. You pit and you go straight through it and then pit within the 25 laps after you just got points, or the people that pit beforehand. And, like, honestly, it would just be really confusing as a spectator if you don't know anything about the sport. Okay, just think about this.
See, that is what I was thinking too. I'm sorry to interrupt you. As Thomas was saying that, I was thinking in my head, as a new viewer, you probably wouldn't know what the fuck is going on.
You wouldn't, right?
Right.
Like you would be like, why is he pitting right now? Like,
right.
Like,
but for long-term viewers, it would just create a lot. Yeah, it'd create a lot of strategy, just make it fun. But
it would.
I understand what you're saying as well, though.
Like, I don't. So stage racing is something that they're trying to create to make the races more exciting from start to finish. Right. That was the whole point of it. I personally
more entertaining.
I think if you took away the caution part of it, it wouldn't even be entertaining. I think that whole point of it would just defeat the purpose of having it.
Right.
I mean, the only downside to stage racing really right now is when it comes to play tracks. Like, we have, I mean, this year has been an exception, kind of, where they're just, going at it the whole stage. Years past in stage racing created, it's everybody gets in single file, and then last 3 laps is when something happens. Which, as a spectator, that's the most annoying part of it.
Yeah, and it is like, so, like, let's say if some tracks we just get rid of the caution, right? So at road courses and super speedways, so it doesn't create chaos / whatever that is. That would be manufacturing the race as well. So it's like,
true.
So I personally we should get rid of it as well, like in general.
No.
Go back to.
I don't think
go back to the leading laps. Honestly, leading laps I think was better because that there shows more.
Because it made people stay out, right? It made people like, hey, I'm gonna run. But also, without the stage racing, we wouldn't have this 30-lap run. Oh, I'm going to pit, because in 30 laps, we're going to have another pit, right? So it makes you run the race how you would normally have to run it. Right? Yeah. There wouldn't be the strategy in the middle of the race. I know that I think if we get rid of stage racing, you're going to have to shorten the races. I'm sorry.
I agree. Because back before we had the stage racing, they felt long as shit. I think we were talking about this today, actually, that even the truck races, they're what, 185, 200 laps usually? They feel long as shit back then.
Yeah.
Back then, yeah. Well,
let alone the cup race. Let alone the cup race stuff. You know, the truck race felt like it took 3 hours. Let alone the cup.
And today's. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish before I say that.
He was done.
I was done.
Oh, okay. I thought you were still talking.
No.
Like, our day and age, we're all about speed, fast pace. Let's get it. Let's go. Right. Like, that's why people don't watch TV anymore. That's why people don't watch sports anymore. Is because you have to sit there for 3 hours plus. NASCAR, you have to sit there for 4 hours plus, right? But when stage racing happened, I feel like the drawing out the race got pushed away because, like, you'd be like, oh, it's already the end of stage 2, and you're like, I feel like I've been only sitting there for an hour.
Right. And it made it feel so much quicker.
It does.
Especially with the fact of them rewarding points for every stage.
Yeah.
It is literally, essentially, 3 little races. Yeah. Legit. I mean, obviously, it's not technically broke down that way and so on. But I feel like if you're an average viewer and you don't watch week to week to week, like obviously we do, you might turn it on and it'd be the end of stage 1 and they're handing out points. You're like, oh, that's cool. You know, Larson just won points for winning that stage. You know, what's going to happen now? And then they go green again. They're like, oh, there's another one? You know, we're going, like, there's another race. And then, of course, into stage 2, more points. It's like, oh, man, that's, 2 short races. That's cool. I could do this.
So, my problem...
And it creates an intermission.
Yes, it does. It like, at the racetrack as well. Like, you go... After stage 1 is done, like, there's this different type of feel where you actually go get your snacks or your bathroom break or whatever.
Right.
Or, in my case, my next beer, right? You know, like you're going to go get those things.
They need to have a beer cart.
Dude, they didn't have any.
Busch Light?
Dude, I swear, they didn't have any of that when we were at Dega. I was so frustrated because before COVID,
they definitely used to.
Yeah, before COVID, there was a lot of people that would be like, "Yeah, I got your Budweiser here," which, who drinks that? But that's beside the point. But
that's 1999 to 2008.
For real.
Ever since Junior left, like, what's Budweiser? No, but that's all I have to say on stage racing. Personally, I think we should get rid of it in general, but. That, of course, means that we have to make the 400 miles or 300 miles, but keep the crown jewels the same length. Okay?
Yeah.
Daytona should be 500 miles. Coke 600 should be 600 miles. Bristol night race should be 500 laps. I think.
Absolutely. Because even with it being 500 laps, it's honestly a short-ass race.
It is.
Realistically. From, like I said, from like the average viewer, the people that watch it every week like us, they might not realize that 500 laps isn't a lot because they don't realize the track is exactly. They don't realize that. Versus, we'll sit there and be like 16 seconds. We're doing 4 laps a minute. That's freaking quick. Versus Dega, you're doing 1 lap a minute.
I say sometimes at Dega, under caution, I feel like you have enough time to go to the bathroom, get your snacks, and get back before they even make it back to start finish line.
Right before they even do a freaking lap.
You do.
I don't.
Ran like I did too.
There'd be a lot of times I go to the bathroom, get another beer, let the dogs out, go get a snack, let the dogs back in, sit back down, and then they're coming back from commercial. They're like, "Oh, we're going pitting now." We haven't
that's what
yet.
I'm saying. Oh my god.
Anyways, so we have some other stuff to talk about too. Let's get onto that because we do have a lot to cover, unfortunately.
Yeah. The next thing I think we can talk about is Mitch will probably. I want him to do this because this is his driver. You can go ahead and celebrate for the weekend.
Kevin Harvick was announced, I think, last Friday. I believe he is the only NASCAR driver in the top 3 series with 1,200 plus starts. I think that is absolutely awesome. No one's done it. That is absolutely a record that will be broken eventually. But
I'm surprised Kyle Busch doesn't have that.
I agree, but at the same time, I understand what Harvick does because before even Busch was in the sport, Harvick was running full Cup and Xfinity schedules.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Truck races here and there.
Exactly. Me and Dylan literally talked about it today.
Yeah.
But so I think it's awesome. Obviously, I'm a Harvick fan, so that's cool as hell to see. But it's just cool. It's just cool as well for the sport that we got another driver that is at the top of, some sort of statistic. It's not just an Earnhardt or Petty. There's more names constantly being added to that. It just makes it a little more, I guess, versatile, and it makes it a little more realistic that for new fans coming in, if you say you start rooting for Elliott, that he can start breaking these records, versus when it was only two people, you're like, well, only two people have done this. It ain't ever going to be broken, but look at Johnson, I mean, he never.
That's true.
You know what I mean? But it just makes it seem like you can, I don't know, and more, I guess.
Well, that makes us appreciate Kevin Harvick a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be one of those drivers. So, personally, I love Kevin Harvick. I think he is way better than a lot of people think he is.
I agree.
I will say this before we get off topic about Harvick. We're going to come back to him. That's amazing that Harvick has done it. However, there's one stat that I don't think will be broken for years to come. If anybody's going to break it, it's going to be one of these new young guys that scored in 797 consecutive starts in the Cup Series.
Yeah.
That's Kevin's almost right there, bro.
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
Kevin has already, I don't know what Kevin's exactly at, stat we can tell us, but I know he's already past 700.
Well, yeah,
656. Well, that was 10 months ago, so
600. Yeah, he's past that.
650. Okay, wait.
Because I just saw a picture the other day that Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Newman all have 700 plus straight. They're the only drivers in the sport as of right now. So no, Harvick's going to beat that, and same with Kurt. I mean, Kurt's not. I think Kurt's not going to be around for a while, but I think he has a shot to break it as well.
I can see him honestly leaving after this year.
I agree,
and Newman.
Who knows?
Yeah,
who knows really?
But going back to what I was going to say about Harvick, like I appreciate how good Harvick is. Like his stats does not really line up to where he should be.
No.
And I think that's because of RCR though. I don't really think
absolutely.
But
it brings that average a whole lot further down.
Yeah.
Isn't he? He's only one of three drivers left in the field that have raced since the Winston, correct?
Yeah, and then three. Harvick, Newman, and Kurt. Yeah.
Yeah. So that just showed, that's multiple racing platforms that he's raced across.
And, so with that, I mean, people realize Harvick's first 3 years in Cup, he missed a race of each of those, right? And, he was always in trouble. He was always doing something stupid.
Fighting.
Big, hot kid.
Fighting everyone.
From California, you know?
Greg Biffle.
Yeah, he legit strangled
Ricky Rudd and, everyone.
He jumped over the car.
And
good times.
He made people, really just not like him at first. And I think it's because they would look at his stats and look at how he would talk, and it just wouldn't add up, right? He would win. I mean, I'm not saying he wouldn't, but he wouldn't, dominate. But as soon as he got to the field,
he got the name, the closer, for a whole big-ass reason, No,
so... And
he'd float there between third and eighth place all day, and then late race caution comes out, and he just finds himself up front.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as soon as he got to the forecourt, you can see his stats were
a switch flip, a whole switch flip.
Yeah, Rodney Choate.
I think that
is something.
Rodney.
Yeah.
I also think that
Rodney's great, man.
Go ahead.
I think part of that could also be, nothing against Richard Childress Racing.
Right.
I think that's more the reason Harvick was the way he is, because one, look whose car he took over.
Yeah.
Two, RCR is a very, you will do X, Y, and Z, and Harvick is not a person who you tell what he can and can't do, for the most part.
Right. We've learned Harvick is going to do Harvick. Point blank, it don't matter how you feel about it. Harvick's going to go out there and do what he wants. And I agree. RCR was you do X, Y, and Z, and you do it the way he wants it. You know.
Which is odd because Dale Earnhardt wasn't that type of person, right? Like he was.
But Dale Earnhardt was.
I feel like they
made RCR what they were.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I think they had obviously we know they were like best friends, RCR and Dale. So I feel like they had a huge mutual respect for each other, and RCR probably or I should just say RC. I don't need to say the R, but RC probably just let him do whatever the fuck he wanted, as we know.
Like, because when he took over the ride, the second race, the second race of the season, his first race in a Cup car didn't do well at all, and then literally,
I think he ended up running like top 15, something like that.
Yeah, and like
but ran in the back.
But he was like over the radio cussing people out, like it was really bad. And then, of course, you know how Atlanta went, right? It was a completely different aspect, but the radio was completely quiet because the car was right. So it's like, I think RC was like, this kid's got a lot of talent, but like, he's really
you gotta harness it.
Like, and RC wasn't gonna put up with the mouth, right? And I think that was good for Harvick to be under that because it really made his personality level out eventually. Because after about 2008, when he wasn't winning races, so after the Daytona 500 in 07 to like 2009, 10, he didn't really win a race. So like,
I actually think it was from the Daytona 500 in 07 to the Dagger race where he passed McMurray. I think that was the gap. Yeah.
And that probably humbled him a lot.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because like he thought he was hot shit. Literally, he came in. Oh, I took over the threes ride. Of course, he didn't mean it like that, but just
and he had
It's just
in the back of his mind, he took over the threes ride and went out and won. You know.
Yep.
Yeah. Who wouldn't think like that, right? You're not human if you didn't think like that. And I'm not saying anything bad, but now because a lot of people don't like to see Harvick win, which is really weird because Harvick isn't. Because Harvick isn't the guy that I would be like, I don't want to see him win, right? Because he doesn't.
Yours is Truex.
Obviously, mine's Truex. And I don't have a real reason why. He's super whiny over the radio. He really doesn't respect. He respects how others drive, but he is too much of a wimp to do something that someone else does to him. And so I'm like, how are you going to complain over the radio and not do it, right? Like, all you are is just a little bitch. It's simple. It's simple as that. You're just sitting there driving a race car, and you're not doing anything about it.
It reminds me of, honestly, Dale Jr.
Yeah.
Dale Jr. would.
They're best friends for a reason.
Yeah. I'm sure they. I'm sure on.
Sorry, Stat Boy.
What is that? What is that sim? Like 2003 NASCAR. Like, do y'all know what I'm talking about? That they used to race online with, like all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
NASCAR R 2003 or something, whatever that was. I'm sure they complained the whole time they were racing.
Oh, I'm sure.
But that kind of gets us off our topic of Harvick, though. But.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great for Harvick. I think it's great for the sport as well. Like I said, someone else being kind of at the top of some sort of leaderboard. I do think Busch will pass that, and I think others will maybe pass that in the future. I don't know. I think Busch will for sure.
Does that number ever get to 800?
What? Well, I'm talking about the 1,200 for all three.
Oh, apologies. I thought you were talking about the consecutive starts too.
I agree. Well, not from Busch, but I think from someone else possibly, yeah. But this is good news coming from Kevin Harvick.
But anyways, going on other notes, we do have.
Do it yourself, Stat Boy.
Yeah, do it yourself.
Well, y'all were talking about it.
You can speak too, sir. You don't have to text us.
Well, it would have made more sense if he transitioned to it, but okay.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay.
You're a part of this as well. You can bring some random shit up.
You transfer to what you were supposed to, and I'll do what I was supposed to for him. Okay?
Go ahead, Stat Boy.
No, yours. You're the numbers.
Oh,
go ahead,
mine.
Yeah.
So what we're going on to next. Nielsen, I think, is that correct? Nielsen is how it's pronounced? Yes. Nielsen study did it on the door number results. Surprisingly, if you move the numbers back, you have more room for sponsors in front of it. The surprising fact here is the teams paid money for this study to be done. I agree. I'm fine with them moving them back as long as they maintain the same side or same size. And it doesn't go on where it starts to flare around the wheel wells. If it does, it's just going to ruin the number.
Oh yeah, that'll be horrible. We have to make compromises because sponsors are what pays the bills. Right, absolutely.
If a sponsor is going to pay a little bit extra money to put their number or their logo right there, have at it. I'd rather it be centered still because of tradition, but we do have to make compromises to keep the sport growing and going forward. What's your guys' take on that?
I actually saw a post earlier from something. I don't know. It was just an example type of post. They used 200 cars. It was the 24 and the 48. I don't know if they're actual paint schemes or not. Couldn't tell you, but it was just 2 example cars, and it said why that person thinks that if they choose to move the numbers back, they should be able to move them forward and backwards with given paint schemes. And I was actually like, I actually like that idea. And it gave a couple different examples. Both cars had Pepsi on them. And, one would have the Pepsi logo behind the number, one would have it before, depending on the paint scheme itself. So it all kind of flowed in different ways. And saying, so don't necessarily move them back, but give the option to move them forward, move them in the center, do all kinds of different things with it. I was like, I actually like that idea because it not only does it give what they want to accomplish with that, with having more sponsor room, but it also allows them to give a bunch of different variety to it as well.
Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, I disagree. The reason being is because as a spectator, it's gonna. I don't want to explain to somebody, well, why is his number forward? Why is his number back? Why? You're starting getting into that.
Sponsor dollars, bro. They want it forward.
Just keep it between the wheels. I don't care.
Hey,
yeah, keep it between the wheels.
So I'm more with Mitch here. I think it should be on the sponsor itself, and where the sponsor should put the number, right? So I don't think NASCAR should just say, "Hey, let's just move all the numbers back," right? Because that's not going to work for every sponsor. Because for any,
right, it might make them look weird depending on what it is. I mean,
literally, okay. I just talked about this. Yeah, Truex has the best paint scheme for sponsorship. Literally, both. It looks amazing the way they have the 19 and like the Bass Pro and all that. It's it's still on the vehicle, right? But moving it forward actually gives you more room. They don't realize it. But because of remember like back in like the 90s and the early 2000s where they have all that extra sponsors that was on the car.
Contingency sponsors.
Sponsors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have those.
I miss those days though.
So the reason why we don't have those is because they're not useful on the race car anymore. Because it's all about social media now, so everything's on their fire suit or on their social media handle, right? So that's why we got rid of those. Well, instead of that, let's just move it completely forward, right? And put it right there where the driver sits. Not just the door, but where the driver sits, and that shows their identity. As long as it can show the difference between the paint scheme and the number and who the driver is, that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah,
I agree.
Honestly, you just leave the number on the roof and just not have it on the side.
No.
Why?
That's actually really cool. Like I've actually seen.
That's more room for sponsor.
You can't see the roof. Depending on where you're sitting, you can't see that roof.
That's true, especially being low.
Yeah,
low on the track. You can't. All you can see is the window up, so you can't
sit higher.
Sit high.
Paper money.
Not all of us are that rich, all right.
Hire's cheaper.
No, it's not.
Not always. Not
It's-
always.
It's the same price top to bottom.
This isn't wrestling, DCB.
You pay for section. Doesn't matter what the section is. What you pay for.
The higher you sit, the more expensive it is.
Typically, yeah. I mean, not always, because it does depend on the track. But
Well,
Okay,
because
my track is the same until I move to a different stand.
see, not for me. For at Homestead, it was the lower was the cheaper.
yeah, because
As you went up, it was more expensive because you get better view.
yeah,
No one wants to like if you're at Bristol, you've probably never been there. But if you're at Bristol, if you're on the bottom, you absolutely do not see nothing.
Unless they're on the other side of the track.
No, you literally only see what is directly in front of you. That is it. Like at Bristol, that's it.
Yeah.
Period.
and then so that's why when you sit higher, you can see a better.
You get more of a
perspective
view.
the track,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's more expensive because it's like a better seat. So that's
And then on top of that, you got like Daytona. If you're sitting low, you ain't seeing the backstretch. I mean, even if you're up high, you can barely see the backstretch. But if you're down low, you only have a shot.
You can see the
So
trial if they're coming at you.
Exactly. Usually higher is more
And if
expensive.
you're Austin Dillon, you can see his car in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, go down low. That's the best seat.
That's
For
the best.
real.
Brad
So they
Kowalski.
get cut up by like the sheet metal. I'm suing.
No,
that
yeah.
car.
I'm sure it does vary for different tracks though, and so on, and different corners as well. But
Yeah.
typically most tracks it does seem like the higher, not necessarily the higher you go, because there are some tracks where too high is too high. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's a
Bristol,
perfect
too high.
medium. See, I almost disagree though. The first time I went to Bristol, I sat at literally the very freaking top on the exit of turn 2, right before the sweet start.
Yeah.
It was a dang good seat, bro. You can see
Really?
every inch of the track,
So
every inch of it.
I usually sit around 20 rows from the top below. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? So
Yeah,
I don't know where that row is. So I can
Right.
So generally where I sit, because it's a road course, so turn 1, they're coming at me. I'm at that's what they're looking at, straight ahead.
Oh, you're like over on that side. You're not on the actual stretch.
No, so they are
Ooh.
coming right at me.
That's a
I
cool
see
view. That's a cool
everything.
view.
Yeah, you barely see them come out of the far turn.
Right.
And they just get bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, they're going into that turn. And you see so many dive bombs.
Oh, I feel like that's an anxiety corner to be looking at it from that direction. I'd have so much anxiety having them watch it come right at me like that. That's cool.
That would be beautiful.
Jimmy Johnson better smack you.
So like, that stand
For
used to
real,
not be
bro.
there. That stand used to not be there.
Right. Yeah, that got put in like what, 6-7 years ago, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
That's crazy.
It was awesome. And I was like the
We're so
next
far
to
off
last,
topic,
I was like
as
the-
always.
like 1 or 2 rows. But I do
How did we
agree with
even
that.
get to talking about this?
You
We were talking about the number study and how you can't see the tracks.
actually,
Yeah.
technically me.
Oh yeah, talking about low down. Yeah, low down sucks. Yeah.
All right, so the numbers may change. I'm joking.
From the sounds of it, they're moving back. Get used to it, unfortunately.
Yep.
Like I said, as long as you can identify who the driver is, that's all that matters.
That's what matters.
Yeah, that's
Honestly,
what matters. It is.
Speaking of number changes, Brad Kozlowski could have a new number next season.
Good segue. Good segue, Sat Boy.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
I knew Dylan was waiting for it.
Stat Boy, why? Tell us
Why? Yeah.
Roush
Why?
Fenway,
I don't
driver
understand.
ownership role, got offered.
What? What are you talking about?
Apparently, Roush wants to be good again.
So,
All right, you don't have to be that ecstatic about it. Or bitch.
It's Roush.
Really?
Come on.
Are you serious? No, but
This is going to be. I think it's a good chance or good opportunity, especially right now. They're about to go into the
Yep.
new car.
Yep. That's a good
Granted,
time
it's going
for
to be
it.
a lot up front at first, but it's going to level the playing field out. Roush may get back to that 2005, 2006 era. I'm not going
Well,
to say
I
they're
don't
going
think
to win.
I don't think they're ever going to get back to that, but
I don't. I'm saying
they're going to win.
They're going to win. I don't
They're
think
gonna
they're going to
win.
win the first year, though. I think realistically,
If they do, I think it'll be
2023.
Kozlowski, but that'd be it.
and it would be at a plate track.
Yeah.
Realistically,
Probably. Yep.
I think that 2023 will be like their first win on a non-plate track if they get it. And at that point, it's going to have to be a short track because that there levels the playing field a little bit more as well.
Good thing for it, Roush is running good right now. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're not bad. Busher's been solid all season.
He's top 16 right now.
Newman's being Newman. I mean, he's there, but not at the same time.
He'll end up making the playoffs somehow.
Well, so
Probably.
They basically all but confirmed it. They didn't say, yes, it's confirmed, but they didn't deny it in a press conference with their new sponsor renewal with
the extension of Fastenal.
Fastenal, that's correct.
Yeah, the extension. Yep.
I think Bob Parker's actually said it was happening.
Yeah,
he said it's basically done.
No parties have made the announcement.
Right.
But
how does he find out this information? Does anyone know?
Because he's
has their numbers.
Yeah,
he is.
He's
good.
like Adam Schefter.
So he's just calling everyone every day, like, "Yo, you got news for me?"
No, they text him.
Yeah. So
he's like Adam Schefter. They'll text him everything.
I imagine that they'll hear us. He'll hear a rumor, and then he's digging into it, and then he releases it and finds out.
That's what I was wondering, because I'm like, does he just have like microphones on everyone or what? Like,
so because he works for Fox,
how does that happen?
So he works for Fox Sports. So automatically he gets emails sent to him every second of like news feeds, right? And so when he sees one that looks interesting that he wants to write about or look into, he will find a guy that he knows that was in the conversation, and he'll just text him and say, "Hey, what's going on? Is there anything that I can know beforehand?" And then he may even give him all the information, but say, "Hey, you can't say this just yet. Wait till you release it." So
right.
Now, from what we did
I hate him personally.
Me too.
I love the information he gives and stuff, and I fully
it's his voice.
know if he says anything, it's valid. But I just hate him as a person, man. I cannot stand him. Yeah, his voice sucks. His personality sucks.
This is him.
His face sucks.
Yeah, I think my thoughts on the tire caution this afternoon. They should have thrown a caution. I don't understand.
From what they were saying, Brad Keselowski will take over the 6 car, which does put Ryan Newman out of that seat. Do they go to a 3-car team though?
No.
Or does Margarita?
That's going to be based on what Newman does.
I disagree. I think they're going to be a 3-car team. Newman's going to stay. He ain't going to cut Newman like that.
What does he take over? What number?
They bring in a 3rd car straight up.
What number though?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
And what charter? Because right now Rick Ware holds 4 charters for last.
They're gonna buy one from Rick Ware then.
Well, with BK's money, right? So this is
bring back the 16.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, no, because that stupid colleague team, they got the 16 right now. So.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Well,
college
they don't own a charter. So
what number are they picking next season?
They want a charter.
They'd pick the
11. 11 wants a charter. If Roush goes to another, they're a 3rd charter. That's 3 charters. Rick Ware holds 4, and they don't need it.
Junior, possibly.
Junior.
Charters? I think Rick Ware Racing will go down to a 1-car team 2022. And they're going to sell all the 3 charters. Watch.
Yeah. 1 to Roush, 2 to Junior.
1 to 2311.
Nope. And they're fucked.
No, I
don't think Roush. My opinion, Roush stays at.
Actually,
all right. Does anyone know if Newman is in a contract year though?
I believe he is. He signed a 1-year extension last year, didn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, 1 year.
That'd be kind of
even sign one last year?
You almost died, and you're like, "Oh, we'll give you 1 more year." We know you almost died, so we'll give you another year.
I think it was in the offseason. It was like the offseason.
Denny Hamlin's most recent tweet. Hang on.
Bro, just read it.
Crown.
Yes.
Read it.
But that's Crown. What do you think of that right away? Richard Petty.
Petty.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see where this is going?
Yes, I do.
Do you see who drives for Richard Petty? Do you see where he came from?
Jones. Gibbs.
Do you bingo?
Somebody said, "Don't do that. Don't give me hope."
Wait. I mean, we did hear this rumor that
Petty was going to go.
Goes Toyota.
We heard that last season.
I could see Petty. So here's what I could see. I can see.
I don't think Petty would go to Toyota.
I can see
think he
Petty
would if it
Enterprises
was money.
backing out and owning a 25% of 2311. Watch. So and here's why.
I could see that.
Because
And
They
then it
changed the
fixes the
number.
charger. It fixes the charter situation
because
because they'd be just giving it to them at that essentially.
bingo. And then
Do they still run the 43?
45.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely,
No.
the 43.
Yes.
It would turn to the 45. I'm telling you right now.
They'll keep the
Petty's not going to give up the 43. He will never do that until he dies.
Yeah, they'll keep the
Oh,
three
God.
the three part, right? The 23, the 43. It would just make sense.
Yeah.
And then they'll keep the same number 3 on both vehicles.
Nah, not happening. Sorry. It's gonna be
I
the 45.
fully see that. He'd be basically given the charter there. He gets 25% of the company. Less money spent on Petty's part.
Less money
It's
on
more-
Michael.
Less money on that. It's basically a collaboration. They still get Jones, which is a damn good driver. Good equipment. It's a win-win.
Toyota.
It's a straight up win-win.
It would just make sense. On the reason why so the 43 had to be in a Chevrolet for one more year. That was their contract. So that it would make sense of why Eric went to there to begin with. And they would already have sponsorship with not Under Armour. Armor
Armor All.
Armor All, that's what I was thinking of.
STP.
STP, all
Right.
the same sponsors would be on that car, so they wouldn't have to worry about money, right?
Which 2311 has an abundance of sponsors trying to get on cars.
That as well, so they can just split them up.
Beautiful.
Bro.
You know,
I don't know what made that click in your head, but it clicked in mine. So
It clicked
Yeah.
in my
good job to you.
As soon as I thought of it, I was like, dude, this makes sense. I saw that tweet when it first happened.
keep talking, boys. I
Right.
need to
I remember when you first saw it because we were racing earlier.
I was like, what
But-
the hell? 'Cause,
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
But
He won't.
Okay.
I
Bye.
was thinking about it all day. I know that
Kick
sounds
'em.
really weird because I was like, well, I was doing things throughout the day and I was just like, man, what could that possibly mean? And of course, today they also brought up the DraftKings sponsor for the 23, which is really cool to see.
I saw that.
But I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't make sense why you put a crown, right? I get the king wise, but
Right.
why would you put a pin?
The King. Okay.
Why would you
Regarding NASCAR and King, there's only one
Cars
meaning.
4.
There's only one.
what?
Cars 4.
What? Cars 4.
Cars 4.
All right.
Think about what you just said.
I get it. All right.
I'm just so confused.
We're
I don't
just
get it. All right.
So go to the.
Moving on.
We're racing at Coda. Just FYI,
Coda.
we're at
Holy
practice
cow,
for
Coda.
all of the series next week, which is really great.
That's a good thing.
It's a very good thing.
All right, cool. You're back. I'm leaving now. I'll be back.
Okay. I actually
The alcohol's flowing.
So before we get into that, I actually want to say one thing though. iRacing at Coda yesterday, James Davison
man, I like
and
that.
Rick Ware Racing 15 vehicle won. That's really cool to see. James Davison actually won a Xfinity road course race at Road America in the 20 car. So it
Yes.
made,
How long ago was that? Was I born?
yeah, it was like 2015, 2016.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to the Loader Series then.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't pay attention to him. So I just want to say congrats to him. That was a really cool win, I guess. I mean, it's iRacing, so it wasn't really matter. But
Yeah.
So of
You
course,
beat me to it, Dylan.
yeah, I'm checking them off with you. So
It makes sense.
and so the first race on the weekend will be the truck race, and Paul Menard will actually be racing for Thor Sport in the number 66, which is really cool to see.
Here's my question. Do you think it's a fifth truck?
Yes, it is a fifth truck.
See, I thought they couldn't do that anymore in the lower series.
The lower series is the only ones that can do it.
Well, no, because Hendricks did it with Chase Elliott when he came in the 25 at Martinsville. But he had to make so many starts.
Yeah, so, but, okay, since we're talking about charters, since charters was available, or now that they're doing charters, you cannot do a fifth car. But in the lower series, a fifth car is only you can do that at any time of the year, as long as you.
As long as it's not full time.
Your permission to run at the track.
Yeah.
As long as it's not full time and for points.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Because I mean,
No,
what's GMS runs five trucks, so
yeah. Okay, Paul Menard, and then you have crap. Now I can't remember his name. Who drives it? Matt Crafton. Who's Menard's Toyota looks better?
What does Menard's look like? Have you seen it?
Let me look it up.
I haven't seen it yet, but
I don't know if it's been released. I mean, obviously they're gonna have Menards.
Matt Crafton has been heavily sponsored by Menards for at least 8-9 years.
Longer than that. But at the same time, Menard is Menard. So
exactly.
Menard's gonna have Menard.
No, I'm saying
it's like black, red, and gray. I think
better. Do they look identical almost?
No, they're not even close. So. Menards is like black, red, and gray.
Is it? You've seen it?
I remember seeing it.
If it's like black, red, and gray, then that reminds me of his throwback that he ran at RCR.
Hold on. I'll just show you. I'll just share my screen.
Okay.
Share it to the podcast as well.
Do you see that?
Oh, I like that better.
Oh,
I like
so that's a lot like.
Yeah, this is not a goddamn cancer to your eye.
Wait, what team is he racing for?
Thor.
Thor Sport.
Thor? Okay, because I was gonna say that's a Thor Sport truck.
That looks good.
It really does.
So it's not Menards?
No, the main sponsor may be Menards though on the hood.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Interesting.
That could be one of their like materials at Menards. That's probably what it is.
Matry.
Oh, it's at the bottom. Maddie, yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, that looks great. That does look great.
Going back to what was we talking about? Oh yeah.
That's a compressor company.
Okay.
Do they sell them?
So Menards probably sells it then.
Yeah, Menards is like a
hardware.
He's
shit. I need to plug my thing in.
Oh, now he's gone. Well, you're next, Dylan.
Yep, you're next. I think it's awesome that he's coming back. He's a good racer. I don't expect much from him though. He is a good racer if you want to get money
top
for your
scenes.
Well, so that's what Paul
sponsor dollars.
The reason Paul Menard was good, one, sponsor dollars. He didn't wreck equipment, and he came back and won. He came back with a solid top 20 days.
Right. I mean, yeah, he had solid runs. He never overdrove his equipment, anything like that. He never put himself in compromising positions. But with that being said, I feel like that is the exact reason why he didn't do better, because he never put himself in compromising positions. He never wrecked his car.
I'm trying to find him smiling. He has no emotions.
Rickyard.
That man is depressed. No, I don't know. I just think he just doesn't have it. He's going back to what me and Dylan talked about last week. You know, there's a lot of drivers that just don't make it in Cup, and then you see him go back to Xfinity and have good success. I feel like he would have been one of those if he went back to Xfinity.
Yeah,
I mean, he
won a lot in Xfinity.
Yeah,
and he won a lot of road courses in Xfinity. It's like 2 of them. So
exactly. So I feel like if he would have went back to Xfinity,
he may have been. But
he might be on his 3rd straight year since he left Cup. You know, if he went back, but he just quit.
Speaking of trucks, we also have a truck team making their Xfinity debut at COTA. JAR, Jordan Anderson Racing.
Oh. That's not their Xfinity debut.
I thought it was.
No, they've done like 2 or 3 now.
No, it will be their first race.
It's new. I thought they did one a couple weeks ago.
No, okay, so every race that they try to qualify, that's the race that they're trying to do. But Daytona, it got rained out for qualifying for them.
Right.
So they were not able to do to do that one. The other race, I think it rained out qualifying as well again. and so they weren't able to make those other two. But they were supposed to.
They will make this weekend simply because Tyler Reddick's in the car. He can use his Xfinity Championship provisional, and I believe he can start the race. So they will make.
That's actually true. I didn't think about that. And then on top of that, that's great for them just in general because obviously, as you said, that's their first start. I thought they had already had a couple, but since it is their first start,
attempted.
Right. But it's going to show them a lot right off. I mean, not that Reddick's a road course racer because he's not, but
he's also not
bad.
But he can get there.
Right, and I mean he's going to give him a good gauge right off the bat of where the equipment kind of is. So that's good for Jordan Anderson. He deserves it. I mean they fight, man. It goes back. I mean, it reminds me of Eric McClure. You know, they freaking fight for everything they got. You know.
Yeah,
that's true.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Xfinity starts, Kevin Harvick, man.
Yeah, he's going to be. Oh, I got a whole thing on that. Kevin's going to be in the 5. Custer's racing. Busch is racing.
Kevin's going to race for the BJ
obviously. Yeah. I actually saw, too, it's not BJ that owns that car. It's his wife. Just an ironic fact.
That's really funny, actually.
Yeah.
Did you name off all the Cup guys in the field?
Kevin.
Obviously, Tyler Reddick.
Kevin, Kyle, Reddick, Custer.
Dylan.
Yeah, Austin Dillon. That's right. Yep. That's right.
Yeah. Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
Running.
I added my own little segment for that for our picks. I added my own little cup segment.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is the downfall of going from Xfinity and trucks and stuff like that. Is they don't relate really well. I mean, they're going to get laps on the track. That's going to help them.
Right, which is absolutely great, especially for Coda.
True. However, but like if they were going to like someplace like Watkins Glen and doing this, they've all. No. I mean, unless you're in the trucks and you're going to race in Xfinity the next day, that's the only advantage you're going to get.
Right.
Because they are going there this year. But as far as Cups in Xfinity, they couldn't race any different. I think the closest they ever were is back when we had the Mickey Mouse ears on the spoiler. As far as how they handle it. The
Mickey
old
Mouse ears.
They called it the Mickey Mouse spoiler.
With the 2 ends on the back.
Okay. Yeah, I remember them. That was around like 2013 or so, right?
Chase's, I think it was like 2-3 years that they did it with, and Chase Elliott was in Xfinity then.
Right. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, around that time.
Yeah. I was just using that as an example.
I didn't hear. I've never heard that term referring to the spoiler. I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" The Mickey Mouse.
That's what they called him.
I just don't remember that. But
and now
I liked that spoiler though. That spoiler looked freaking awesome. I missed that one.
And the dirty air was really good. Like because it was all for the downforce. It was only on the ends, so you didn't have it was able to go behind you onto the hood of the other guy behind you.
Right. Right.
I don't know why we haven't decided to
go back.
You know,
high downforce.
Right. Especially with them tall ass spoilers that we have right now. You would think they would just kind of cut out the center a little bit.
You would think. But
don't know.
Yeah.
So we got any more topics that y'all thought of throughout the day? Or?
Okay. So I have been watching.
Cover them.
And
where are we at right now?
Time-wise?
We've covered it.
Time-wise, we're 1:13.
Okay.
Wow. I was curious. Wait, an hour and 13 minutes? We're short.
Yeah.
We got to step up our game.
Well, actually, we're not done yet. We still got to talk about our picks. So
45 minutes.
I was watching some videos on Coda this weekend, things like that. Kyle Busch actually took a regular Toyota Camry. It was a TRD edition out on the track. It was a in-person how the track drives. Like it was just him and the cameraman after John Hunter and I can't remember who else. They all went out and did a lap. if you want to get a laugh, go watch that video. John Hunter is in the back grabbing the oh shit handles for his life, and his seatbelt would not lock in, so he's going back and forth in the back of the car.
That was funny.
Kyle was talking about the racetrack. There's a lot of places on this track that you are going to want to pass that you are not going to be able to do it. It's going to look big and open and roomy. A lot of hairpin turns that are going to cause the guy on the inside. He may get there. He's not going to get that drive off, and it's going to ruin his whole run that he was trying
that whole next straightaway, right? And then it might put him in a compromising position to lose a spot or two after that if he doesn't complete it, right?
This track is going to be about momentum. I'm not expecting 3-4 wide unless we get a late race caution. I'm hoping that everybody's intelligent enough on Sunday to go just keep it double file.
They're not.
Going into turn 1 up that hill.
They're not.
Well,
Watch the truck race. Double the intensity.
Dude, the truck race is going to be awful. Like, I honestly don't even think I want to watch it. Like, I
do. The truck race is going to be horrible.
I want to watch it because I think it's going to show who has the ability to stay calm and focus.
I already have that answer for you.
Oh, okay.
I can't tell you yet, but I have that answer.
All right, I got all my picks written down right now.
What's your answer to the truck race, Mitch?
I can't. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Let me segue into that. So since we're ready for picks, 1 p.m. Saturday Eastern Standard Time is the truck race. 4:30 Saturday p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Will be the Xfinity race, and then on Sunday 2:30 p.m. afternoon it'll be the Cup race.
Weather in the area.
Yes. So
for
Friday,
the Cup only.
No,
I think all weekend.
All weekend. Okay.
Cup is actually clear.
Oh man!
Cup is clear.
They're gonna have to go there for the first time ever and race in the rain.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Honestly,
there's stuff for me in the Gulf right now, and it's on the border.
In practice for Friday afternoon for all 3 series.
They might not even race. Can you imagine they don't even race?
No, they have rain tires.
15 minutes
practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think all 3 series get 15 minutes, correct?
The practice?
Yes.
It's 30-minute practices, I think.
No, I thought it was 50 minutes.
50 minutes or 15?
50.
So I was hearing 15, and that's why I was like, "There's no way. That's not even practice."
No, because your first 2 runs.
It's a lap.
Anyways,
it's a lap. Okay.
That's a lap. Remind me, Cup race is only 20 laps. Nah.
I'm sorry.
It's actually 68.
68?
God.
Well, that's for the Cup.
That's like an Xfinity race at like Road America, man.
It's 3.4 miles.
Yeah, this will be the largest track they've raced at. I think. How big was Japan? Japan in 2000.
Japan, I think, was like 2.5.
I wasn't born yet.
Well, it'll still be it still won't be the longest track on the circuit.
It was a pretty quick.
The only thing I know about Japan is Dale Earnhardt almost smacked Junior with the shoe across the face.
Yeah. But Friday they will have rain tires for qualifying and practice, so we will see something tomorrow actually.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Wow, I keep on thinking today's Wednesday for some reason. I don't know why. But I'm super excited for that. Finally, practice qualifying for the year, and we'll see that next week as well for the 600 because it's a crown jewel, which is it's gonna be nice as well to see. Which I think it's only gonna help and improve the Hinder cars because I think that's what they struggle with is right off the truck.
Yes.
So, this is gonna be a really fun. The next 2 weeks is really gonna be fun to see where HMS is really at. So
there's one thing though that scares me.
Next 3 weeks, honestly.
And that it's Kyle Busch with practice time.
I know.
Especially with the road course, he's
just
gonna
any
figure
track
it out.
in general.
No, I know, but I mean, we know he's a good road course racer.
Yeah.
And then practice on top of that. Busch is gonna be quick. Busch is gonna be quick.
Yep.
So we can go into race picks for the truck race. So who is going to suck this weekend?
Real quick, yeah, I was gonna say we should do. I don't know how we always do it, but we should do trucks suck, then run well, and
Yeah, that's how
Okay.
I always wanted to do it from the beginning, but I knew we just.
I've noticed that we do like suck and then run well and then win and then go to the next person.
Yeah.
But I would rather
Okay.
All right.
So suck pick. Go ahead, Stat Boy.
Suck pick Hosafar.
Who?
Hosafar.
Who the fuck is that?
Hey, is this his first?
No. He
No,
had
he's
the top 10
wrong,
last
bro.
weekend.
Yeah. What's his first? Say his first name. It'll ring a bell. I don't remember what it is. So of course, and he's got a knot, so he can't.
Anyways.
Oh, I know.
So-
Yeah. Okay. He dressed for the Nice Motorsports. I gotcha.
Oh, okay. He's the new. He just took over for Brett Moffitt, right? Okay.
All right.
I can see that.
Mitch.
My suck pick. I'm gonna go with Stuart Friesen. He's not much of a road racer. He's in struggle big time.
I feel that Sauter is going to have a bad weekend. He is. Something's off this year. He's either on his game running in the top 5, or he is struggling all race to maintain a top 20 position.
Yep.
Dylan.
I think John Hunter Nemechek's going to suck. I think he's going to overdrive the race car a lot. I think he's going to spin out a couple times because of it. So I just think this is just not going to be his weekend.
I'm going to disagree with you.
See it.
Just because Kyle Busch was in that car and he was too, he was giving him tips the whole time. And they're getting track time together.
That's true.
Who knows? All right.
I think Kyle has definitely reined Sauter in. Like what Sauter was like, what a win here and there, barely. Look at Sauter coming out of the gates this year. Or not Sauter, sorry, Nemechek.
Yeah, I was gonna say what?
I was a little confused, but I was going to let you talk about it because I have no idea what the hell you're saying.
I think Kyle Busch has reigned in.
Gotcha.
Nemechek.
No, I get. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's really.
Using the force. Whoosh.
Oh man, now we gotta go to Star Wars. Oh, sorry, I can't say that, can I?
So who is going to? Who needs to run? Who needs to run well? Step Boy.
Really? She had a good run.
That's what you say every week.
She had a good run and then fell off for about 3 weeks. She needs a little bit of a better run.
So my
coming out of
opinion,
road course,
And she's not that bad of a road course racer.
that's what I was gonna say. I think her off-road driving experience and stuff like that is going to
That is
help
true.
her.
'Cause
I mean,
she was
at
an off-road
Daytona, she got
champion.
forced off the track.
And
Yeah.
she's
Right.
in the top 10. So.
Yeah, I think that she's going to do
Sure.
decent this weekend.
That's true.
As far as me, who I think needs a good run, Matt Crafton, kind of the same boat as Johnny Sauter. He is up and down. 1 week he started out great. At Richmond, he started out in the top 10 of the first stage, and he just fell back. I think he needs to turn it around if he plans on making another run at a title.
I mean, it worked last year.
Bless you.
Thank you. Allergies to bad.
Oh, for sure.
I agree with you with someone that had kind of an up and down run this season. 1 week they run top 5, next week they're 15th. Mine needs a good run is Todd Gilliland. I think he's halfway solid at road courses. He's been decent. Still, once again, kind of hit or miss. One road course he'll be 5th, the next one he'll be 25th. So I think he needs a good run to make a good solid attempt at this championship because, as we know, it's crunch time for the trucks. So,
It is. I think there's 8 races left.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Who needs a good
it's
run?
crunch time.
I would say Stuart Friesen. I have no idea where that team is at. Like I don't.
Ever since I think the second, I don't know how many. I think this is their 4th season, right? 4th full-time season for Friesen.
Ever since they went to Toyota, it's like
It's been trash. It's been trash.
But they're getting TRD backing. I think that's the worst part.
Well, or the scraps of KBM.
Something's not right with it though.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that highly of Stuart Friesen as is. I think he is an incredible dirt racer.
I think he has the
But I
ability
think that's
to be a
it.
good racer. I think he needs to get out of running his own team, though.
I think he needs to go to Xfinity, and then that's when we're gonna see what the fuck he's got.
Well, speaking of Xfinity, let's get our picks.
All right.
What?
Well, who's gonna win the race then, Stab Boy?
For what? Xfinity or trucks?
Trucks.
Oh, wait, we didn't do that? Shit, I thought we did that.
No.
Sheldon.
Okay.
Sheldon Creed?
I'm going straight up with Sheldon.
I mean, hey. All right, Mitch.
Sheldon Creed as well, based off of his. Just so you know, I had this written down long before him. I was talking to Dylan about writing my notes at like 2 p.m. Just so you know. But no,
3 days ago.
I went with Sheldon Creed. No, today. Well, fuck you. All right, I didn't know you went with Sheldon Creed. No, the reason I'm going with Sheldon Creed though is because he has that off-road but asphalt road course truck experience.
Yeah.
I don't know what that series is. I honestly found out about it on accident. I was Facebook one day, and I mean it was basically a road course race with ramps in off-road trucks, and Sheldon Creed won it. And I was like,
That's
wait,
Coda.
so I was like, I was like, is that the same Sheldon Creed? And I mean, this is right after the championship, so I was just like, what is going on, you know? And I looked into it, and he was actually the champion of that sport. I think like 2-3 years ago, something like that. So he's got a great road course experience. He clearly has great truck control, which I didn't previously know previous to his championship. So I'm gonna go with Sheldon Creed.
I also am picking Sheldon Creed. I had it written down
Wow!
beforehand.
All right, we all got to back ourselves. Look, I had it first. Like,
No. So I went
funny.
back and I looked at his
I
Daytona
swear to God,
road
Dylan.
course when last year had the field beaten by what 12 seconds.
that was a good influence as well.
It's nobody was on par with him. Granted, that was before practices were, or with no practice. There will be practice this weekend, so things could change, especially with the weather. But even with the weather, off-road trucks race in weather. I feel that is going to play into his advantage. They also need to get some sponsor on that damn truck.
See, all right. So hold on, real quick before you go into your pick, Stone. We talked about that last week, and they dropped the ball on that.
Yeah.
They should have took that Camping World sponsorship. I don't even know if you know what we're talking about. Long story short, to catch you up, they passed up on Camping World sponsorship for $5,000. What, a race? I believe 15 grand a race. Yeah,
And
that's mind blowing. That they should have took that. Even if it's not the best offer they could have gotten in the whole freaking world, it's money being passed to them, and
if
it's
he wins with that scheme, which
it's a bonus. It's a bonus.
$100,000.
Here's what I think they should do. I think they need to go knock on Rick Hendrick's door, get one of his businesses to sponsor, kind of like how Chase Elliott is right now. Hendrick cars or Hendrick trucks, even on the hood of one of those trucks. It's just sponsoring, it's advertising, but it's also helping the sport within.
I agree, but what me and Dylan talked about is why would anyone want to sponsor him with how Sheldon Creed acted?
Because he said, I deserve more than $15,000.
He deserves more than that
That's,
on social media and let the whole fucking world know how much they were offering.
True.
I wouldn't want to sponsor him because they're like, what if he tells them how much I'm giving him? You know, that ain't Mitchell's personal business on fucking podcasts. You know, who cares?
Yeah.
It's not.
Well,
It's
I don't
true.
know.
I
think
agree.
he screwed himself with that.
He did. It's going to be hard for him to overcome it. He's stuck in the truck series because of that one comment now, though, for a while.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's going to be there a while now. I think without that comment, he would win Xfinity next year. With it, he might not ever leave trucks.
Well, he at least gets one more win because he's winning this weekend as well. That's my pick. I laughed when he picked it.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
4 for 4. That's a first. That's the first on the podcast.
I knew that.
Okay.
Right.
I knew that was a segue for me to say it because he was like, "Yeah, he's gonna be in there for a little bit. Well, he's at least gonna get one more win."
Okay, I'm making a prediction right now. At least one of you has the same pick of me for the winner for Xfinity.
I'm sure we're gonna have the same pick.
The three of us had the same pick for Cup.
I bet we do.
Well, I think 3 of y'all probably do, but I'm definitely the outsider for Cup.
Right.
Going on into Xfinity, who is going to suck? Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say real quick for the Xfinity, for the end of it, after the winner pick, I added a segment just for this week because we got Cup guys, worst and best Cup guys. But that'll be at the end.
Cool. That's cool.
That's cool. I like that.
That's all you.
But Stat Boy, what do you have for Xfinity this week? Who is going to suck?
Brandon Brown.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's bold. Wow.
He's a good driver.
I'll be honest.
I know he's good.
He's not bad at road courses. I mean, you never know. But do you have a reason for it, or is that just a random
No, I just
guess?
picked a name.
A random guess. Okay.
He threw a dart at the wall with everybody's name on it.
It's been a
40
wheel
driver. Boom. 68.
Good. Mitch, you good?
What is this? Struggle?
Yep. So,
Mhm.
yep.
Kyle Busch.
KFB.
Oh.
KFB. He's going to struggle. Obviously, we know he's never been there, like
Wow.
race-wise. I think he's not going to be able to figure it out. Straight up.
Struggles in trucks, he's going to win Xfinity. That's all I'm going to say.
Disagree.
My pick, Boris said. I feel that he's been out of the car way too long.
He's racing.
Yeah.
He used to be. He's racing.
Just laughing because y'all are fucking laughing.
He used to be a road course ringer. Those times have gone. Now it's almost expected of everybody.
We talked about that earlier.
It's almost expected of every driver to have confidence at a road course, unless you're Bubba Wallace.
Yeah.
Because he straight up said he needs to go to road course school.
He did. He said he sucked. And, like, that's pretty sad. When you know you suck that bad, like, you're just like, yeah, I'm just not good.
Watkins led
Wallace had a road course.
2019.
Who's going to suck in Xfinity? I actually have a Cup guy as well. Austin Dillon. I think he's going to suck.
I forgot he was even racing.
Okay.
To be honest. So, going into your segment, Cups and Cup drivers in Xfinity, Mitch.
That's at the end.
Oh, at the very, very end. Oh,
End.
So,
yeah.
The end of Xfinity.
okay, so who needs to go run?
Riley Herbst.
No doubt. You didn't even have to say that.
Dude. Okay, so I'm going to cut all y'all off right here because, listen, Kyle Busch said something on the I Am an Athlete podcast. He said, there's some drivers that just don't got it. And you know who I first thought of was Riley Herbst. I was like, fuck, he just don't got it.
Is there a driver you hate? Joey Logano.
Joey Logano. Super confident.
He has straight up admitted that he.
That's funny. I still need to watch that. I haven't watched it yet.
Same.
But both of them, Dale Jr. and that, is really good. Honestly,
Yeah.
I love how they do their podcast. It's really nice. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'll have to check them out.
Brandon Marshall.
For the run well for Xfinity, or needs to run well. Sorry.
We know what you
I
mean.
went with Daniel Hemrick. He's been decent here and there. He's kind of been
he
hit or
shows
miss
speed.
as well. Right. Back when he was with RCR and Xfinity specifically, he wasn't a bad road racer. He wasn't great, but he was top 5. So I'm expecting him to be around that same area this week, and I feel like it'll be good for him. A good segue into kind of beginning the summer months.
That would be good for him. I'm going with Justin Haley. Granted, and this is the big reason is because he did miss the
Last week, right?
That is huge points. He
agree.
doesn't have a win this year, correct?
No,
No,
but they
he
gave
does
him
not
a
have
waiver.
this year.
I know that.
COVID waiver.
Yeah, they gave him a
Trash.
COVID waiver. However, he still
He probably still has to win, though, I'm sure, right?
no,
Yeah.
not this year.
He's still in the points.
So he
He's
can.
still in on points, but he needs.
Well,
a
what
good
the fuck
run
is the waiver for?
So like
For the-
Championship.
to run for the championship?
So to be able to win a championship, or to
Right.
be able to be eligible for the championship, you have to run all the races.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the waiver
So that makes sense then.
So because
It waivers outside of
so
it.
that's why NASCAR gave Kyle Busch a waiver, because he couldn't technically help the situation in 2015, but
Right.
that's why people was like, he doesn't really deserve the championship. But I mean, if
He
could
still
have
made
raced,
the points and made a win.
well, if
And,
he could have raced, he still would have been in the playoffs anyways. So
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, he raced hurt at Sonoma and won it. So
yeah,
sure. But no, I think Justin Haley needs a good run this weekend, just because he did miss
Yeah.
that race.
I agree.
It's the Xfinity Series.
They need to get back up on
track.
the horse as well.
Exactly.
You know, get the ball rolling back in the right direction. And not only just because he missed COVID, but as we know, he's only
He
really
missed COVID.
performed
track.
at super speedways.
Yeah.
So he needs to get the ball rolling and get it rolling in a bunch of different kind of ways right now.
Yep. My who needs a good run? It's not really the driver, okay? Because I'm actually picking a Cup guy as well. I'm picking Tyler Reddick for Jordan Anderson Racing. I just want to see where that team's really at for Xfinity, because
Yep.
they haven't really ran. But I think Reddick can, so wherever Reddick finishes, if he doesn't get into an accident, wherever he finishes or is running, just drop 5 positions, and that's where that car's at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree
That's
with that,
a
and I also like that pick. That's a good pick. I mean, I'm personally also curious to see where they're going to run. I want to know. I want to see where they're at, because I like Jordan Anderson. I think they,
Yeah.
once again, just like I said earlier, like Eric McClure, worked for everything he's got. They deserve to be there. I truly think so. So
He's really good.
I hope it goes well for him. Yeah.
Now
Who's gonna win?
Whew.
AJ Allmendinger.
Yes, sir. I agree right there with him. He's obviously the favorite going in, I think. I went with AJ as well. No doubt in my mind he's going to win this race.
Nick.
All right, I'm changing mine right now because I don't want to be the same again.
No,
you're being the same.
You gotta
No.
be the same.
Okay, if they didn't pick AJ,
No, we
AJ
skipped you. It's Dylan's turn.
AJ is my pick. Since they did pick AJ, it would also be Cindric. But
He's gonna be strong. We know that.
AJ was my original pick.
Okay. AJ Allmendinger.
Say it.
Wow, 2 for 2. 2 for
Mitch, go.
2. I'm
Yeah, but
surprised.
we're only going to be 2 for 3.
Yeah. So the new segment, I mean, obviously we can't do this every week, but Cup, worst and best, I went with Kyle, obviously, because I also said he's going to struggle.
Yep.
And then best, I said is going to be Custer. I think he's going to surprise the hell out of us.
I can see it.
I could see it, but at the same time, I feel that he is going to struggle. When it comes down to Cup, Kyle, I feel, is going to be the dominant as far as it goes. He's going to
I
be
agree.
in equipment. And then if you look at the other, they are racing with teams that are not up to par with Gibbs Racing.
Right.
Unless there's practice.
Well, you're completely right, but I don't know. I think
You don't know what's going to happen, though.
I think
something don't
Reddick-
feel right. I think Bush is going to really struggle. And not
Sending
just
him to turn one, jump the
wreck-wise,
hill.
not just wreck wise, but I think he's just not going to have a good car. He's going to struggle every single corner. He's going to be tight, loose, chassis not working. This is broken. My car is shit. Can't pass here.
Sucks.
It's going to be all of the above.
It completely destroys the wall. All right, I think I can race it. Goes out there, wins.
I don't know, though.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But
It's very true.
Stab, go ahead and make yours real quick. Those pick. Oh, wait. Thomas, did you not make yours?
I did.
You made those?
It's Allmendinger and Cindric.
No. I'm talking about the Cup.
the Cup.
Oh,
Cup worst and best.
Who's going to suck? I think as far as Cup going into
Wait.
Xfinity.
Okay. Yeah.
Cup drivers in Xfinity.
Yeah.
Reddick is going to. I think Jordan Anderson, great. This is a new team. Doesn't have any experience because of the rained out qualifications. I think that they are going to be at the back of the field. I think that Kyle Busch is going to outperform most of the Gibbs Racing cars, actually.
Yeah.
And that's
that's probably why he had Daniel Hemrick in the car.
Yeah.
Wrong.
What's your Cup suck thing for Xfinity?
Cup suck, Austin Dillon. And then Kyle Busch. I'm picking Kyle Busch. I'm going to stick with him.
Okay.
So I'm picking Austin Dillon as my suck because he's also my suck pick. And then I'm saying Kevin Harvick. And here's why. I actually think Allmendinger and Kyle Busch is going to go for the win, but I think Allmendinger is going to give the bumper to the 54 and wreck him coming down to that straightaway after that long straightaway, and he's just going to overdrive it and dump him. But that's what I think is going to happen. So.
Do you think it could be like a Watkins Glen situation of like a Keselowski, Busch, and
I could
Ambrose?
Mm-hmm.
But just instead of Ambrose.
For some reason, that's just
Kendrick.
one race I remember for no reason.
Yeah.
That was a great race.
We essentially had that show 2 years in a row.
I just think Harvick's just going to be there, like
could be, especially with his experience. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna unless he gets caught up in something, he's gonna manage his car real well. I think.
So I feel that Harvick is just gonna. He's not looking to win a race. Granted,
he's looking to get laps.
He's looking to get laps, figure out passing points, setups, things like that.
Absolutely. And even then, regarding the Cup race, I don't think he's expecting to win. I don't think he's expecting to run top 10. I think he's wanting to try and run top 10. I think that is a win for them right now, is to run top 10 at COTA.
Yeah.
Cup-wise. But yeah.
Going into Cup, who is going to be terrible stat boy?
I mean, we talked about it earlier. Amarola. Garbage.
That's no surprise, man.
I didn't go with the obvious for this one.
My struggle, I went with Bowman. I think he's going to come right up off that high and go right down into a low, especially into a road course
Not
like that.
happening with Charlotte coming up.
I was like,
this ain't Charlotte, so
that is a good point. However, if you look at the Charlotte Roval the last 2 years, I believe he finished in the top 5.
He's not bad, but I think COTA is a whole different fucking animal. I think I was looking at it earlier. 20 fucking turns. 20. That is
68 times.
Yeah.
That's mind blowing.
Just think you have to be someone with very persistent gas, brake, always.
Exactly. I think the only
we could see an old school guy win on. So.
Exactly. I think we could even see Kevin Harvick win because he's a good old school road racer. Old school.
Yeah.
I'm not talking new school. I think Kurt Busch will be strong.
Newman.
Keselowski, he was not recently, but 10 years ago. Not even 10, 8 years ago. He was really
when you won a
strong
championship. Yeah, he was really strong.
My opinion, as far as
even a little after, but
I think his team's going to give up on him.
Like almost like a Kurt Busch situation.
Yep,
I can see that. I don't think yet, but
they petty, so I'm sure.
They are.
But no, yeah, I think Bowman's going to struggle. I think he's going to go right from the top to the bottom this week.
My pick, I think Tyler Reddick is going to be terrible this weekend. He is not the greatest road course racer. He's great at mile and a halves.
You don't think the Xfinity experience is going to help him too much?
I don't think it's going to. It's not in that equipment.
Yeah.
It's going to be extremely underpowered compared to what he's going to use.
Right.
It's not going to have it's not going to be put together. He's not going to be able to communicate what the car needs, because he'll be able to communicate it, but they're not going to be able to understand it and put it into perspective. I think that that's what it's going to be. I think that the laps. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in the Xfinity race if he wrecks out early.
Wow. All right.
It just depends on other people around.
Okay.
So who I think is going to suck this week? Actually picked Brad Keselowski to suck. So his last 9. So besides that Atlanta race, okay, or not Atlanta. I'm sorry.
There you go.
No, the last Watkins Glen race that we were talking about. He has had 2 top 10 finishes out of 9 races. So 9 road course, and they were.
Has
like
he won a road?
That's it, really?
Yeah.
Oh, he hasn't won.
Where were the top 10s at? You know?
Well,
I guess probably Sonoma or Watkins Glen.
Probably. I think it's Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
And then the other one would have been. I'm sure one of the Roval races at like.
He was decent at the very first Roval race, so yeah. I will give him that. He was
decent until he went into the wall.
Right, but he was the leader. Right,
and Chase did the same thing and won the race.
That's true too. That was the next year, but in his defense, though, no one knew how those tires were going to act on being worn. Obviously, they knew they weren't going to have the same braking power, but I think it shocked everyone just as much as it shocked him.
I think that when it goes to the Roval, I think it mostly goes to that it's a different start than it is as under green.
Yeah.
Right.
They go right through that one section.
Right. They're technically faster than what they normally would have been.
Yep.
So I will give him that. He had speed there that year.
But yeah, that's just my suck pick. I think Brad's gonna have like a really bad year the rest of the year.
Especially now that it's been released, pretty much without confirmation.
His head's going to be elsewhere.
Yep.
Which, before we go on to Cup, or before we go further into Cup, going back to Brad, what sponsors do you see him taking with him to Roush?
None.
I think Discount Tire.
Not one.
Discount.
Well, I could see that, but that'd be the only one.
That would be the
only one because the rest of them are Penske sponsors. So
Bush is not Penske. Bush is for the Deuce.
Bush is with the 4.
Or not Bush. Keystone. Sorry.
If I see fucking Keystone on that car, I would want to go out there just to wreck it.
You will. Coke 600.
Bush.
Bush. Anyways, sorry, but I just had it before I forgot about it. That's why.
No, I like that because I think Discount Tire will go.
You're not wrong.
They're not on. They don't run on Austin Cindric's car. They don't run on Joey Logano's. They don't run on Ryan Blaney's.
The only time that they have run on any other driver is in the Xfinity Series, and specifically, it was always at a road course. It was like Logano at Watkins Glen, AJ at Watkins Glen. Who's the other one that most recently ran for Penske at Watkins Glen?
I can't remember. There's so many.
I think it was Brad in the 48.
Yeah, Brad in the 48. That was weird. Someone else, though. I think it's someone else. But it was always in the Xfinity Series, though, if they sponsored someone with that sponsor.
But
never in Cup.
Never in Cup. It's always Brad that drives.
Brad and Brad only. Yep.
The last time Discount Tire was a full-time sponsor was when Brad was making a championship run in the Xfinity Series.
And that was what, 2010?
2008, 2009, somewhere in there.
Xfinity?
Yes, nationwide.
That was 2010.
2010. Okay, yeah. That's the last time that it was a full-time sponsor, and it was only on his car.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think that Discount Tire comes with them.
I can see that, and it still wouldn't be a full-time like it is now, but I can see
it would be the one or two off.
5 to 8 max.
Yeah.
Honestly,
but that sponsorship that leaves Penske.
Right, and goes to Roush, which is another step in the right direction for Roush. So
exactly. But who needs a good run, Stat Boy?
I think Custer's going to use his good run to have more momentum and get a better good run.
Yeah, not bad. And then I also said he's going to have a good run in the Xfinity race. Hey, here some podcast knuckles. Dogging.
I think Eric Almirola needs a good run. This is the point where he either performs.
To finish.
it's not even. He needs to do more than finish. He needs a top 15. If he does not get a top 15, I don't care if he wins a race. He's out of the cup or out of the playoffs. I think he will fall below 30. I think Corey LaJoy and Quinn Houff are outperforming him because they are finishing races.
I'll give you Corey LaJoy. Quinn Houff, I don't know about.
That statement was mind blowing right there. I just wanted to say, although I agree with DCD, that wasn't my pick. I was just saying that I agreed because the Xfinity side of it.
I thought that was your pick. Sorry.
No, you're good because I noticed immediately
that,
right when you went to talking, I was like, oh, okay, but
that flowed good though.
No, it did. But
all right. So what's your pick?
My needs a run. I didn't go with a need a run, but I think will run well is going to be AJ Allmendinger. I think he's going to back up that Xfinity win that he's about to get and go right into a top 10 finish.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
so mine's going to be both, actually, as well.
With colleague.
Mine's going to be Kurt Busch. So he's actually a really underrated road course racer. If you go back to all his last finishes, I actually did stats for these stats, which you heard me like naming off stats earlier, Mitch. But so sorry, Kurt Busch has like 9 top 10s in the last like 12 road courses.
He's not a bad road racer.
No, he finishes. That's what he does. He's not.
Well, I would actually say he doesn't finish. I would actually say he runs. I mean, yeah, he's got 9 top 10s, like you said, but out of them top 10s, I feel like he ran better than just top 10.
Yeah.
Like I remember him in the 51 Phoenix Motorsports, wherever the fuck it was. Leading, dominating at Sonoma. Dominated.
Yeah.
That was mind blowing. I was like, yo, he should not be doing this in this equipment.
Yeah.
That was what I remember. What I remember the 51 for is Kurt Busch's radioactive moment when he had to go at Darlington.
Oh,
is it
even worse?
I'm fucking there, just screaming.
I thought that was in the 78. Was that in the 51?
No, that was in the 51.
Oh, okay. Like, I'm fucking there. I'm fucking there. I think Decent Stat Boy sent me a video the other day of Kurt Busch, and that was a part of that clip.
Oh yeah,
right.
He makes radioactive. He made radioactive when it first came out entertaining.
Jimmy Spencer used to harm his ass.
Oh, he did too. I'm sorry, Jimmy Spencer, but you were good for a while ish.
I mean, he only has like 5 wins?
Yeah.
Max?
I mean, he was good.
Max?
He was good-ish. The reason I'm saying
how many cup wins does he have, Stat Boy?
Dude,
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
That's why I'm asking you. That's why you're the Stat Boy. I didn't ask you, Dylan. Get off your computer.
I'm just looking.
Watch it be like 2.
It's like 5 total cup. No? Oh, that face said no. Watch it be like 30. No.
No.
It's probably like 2 then. I know he has at least 1, but
well,
as crazy as it is, I always go to Wikipedia for these type of questions.
2 wins.
80 top 10s, 3 poles, 2 wins.
Where were the wins? So it'd obviously be a first and a last.
Daytona and Talladega.
Oh my God. Come on, Michael Waltrip. Trash, bro.
Both in the same year, too.
Really? Well, good for him.
The reason I was saying so Jimmy Spencer kind of reminded me of a Paul Menard.
What year was that, real quick?
1994.
Yeah. Oh, God. But,
well,
yeah. Who did you
more
say?
draft than what I thought.
Who did you say needs a good run? Dylan?
Oh, Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch, that's right.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Right,
well, my iPad percentage is at 9%, and that's the number of the driver I'm picking to win.
Oh.
What a loser.
So by that statement, I'm going to say goodbye early and let this thing charge.
All right. Peace out, dog.
Oh, all right.
Bye.
Later, stat boy. What an exit.
Mic drop. Peace out. What do you got going? Who's your random driver that you're picking to win? And you can't say Kevin Harvick.
Briscoe.
I don't think
Briscoe's a hell of a road racer. He won the last time they were at a road course for the first time, which was the Indy.
barely.
Yeah, barely. You're right, barely, but he won. I think he's going to show up, and I think he's going to get that first win for Stewart House Racing this year. And some crazy finish fashion.
I'm going with the obvious. Chase Elliott's going to win. Honestly, I'm surprised if
it's not his time.
If that caution didn't come out at Daytona, he would have already had that win this season. I think he's going to get it done this time. It's kind of like a redemption. Like, I am the road course king now. This is my territory. Back off. Not to mention, you look at the tire testing. He was over 2 seconds faster than the other two manufacturers, and one of them being Martin Truex Jr., who is, as we know, a great road course driver as well. You look at those stats, I think that just proves he's going to be ahead of the field. I expect him to Larson stage 1 and 2, the way Larson is in stages 1 and 2, but for all 3 stages.
My one pick, I'm not even going to say anything, is Chase Elliott. But actually, so I don't agree with stage 1 and 2. I think Truex is actually going to dominate those 2 stages, but he's finally going to get the redemption from Darlington of last year, and he's gonna do something with it. I think there's just going to be a lot of rubbing this weekend. Like, I can see it.
Dive bombs left and right.
Yeah,
and that's kind of why I also went with Briscoe. I think he's going to get the type of finish he needs, and it's going to work out for him. And it's not going to work.
You're going more for the guys who were supposed to win. They're going to get taken out by racing.
We literally talked about that.
I can
leaving Briscoe, which is a hell of a road racer.
He is
right in the wings to just pick it up.
Is Cindric racing this weekend?
Yeah.
Yes,
he could even do it. He is a hell of a road course racer as well.
No, not in the 33 equipment. No, not happening. He struggled every race he's run in Cup, like massively struggled.
Like it's not even good. Like
yeah.
I think Amarillo was faster at one point.
The best one that he ran was, I think, Dega or Daytona, one of the two. I guess Dega.
Daytona he wrecked out.
So then Daytona Dega, sorry, but I don't know. Either way, they've all been trash, but they just haven't been good for him. And I'm sure some of it's been not his fault, but I don't know. Let's say something.
Speaking of him, if Keselowski, because we didn't really touch on this, Keselowski is most likely leaving the 2 open. Who fills that void? My opinion, Penske buys out.
Cindric.
Yeah, Penske buys out the contract with Wood Brothers.
I agree.
Matty D stays with them for another year, and Cindric goes into either the 2 or Blaney moves to the 2 from the 12, and Cindric fills the 12.
No, I think Blaney stays in the 12. They leave the 12 be his number. I think that's Penske's problem. He likes to get all the good drivers right at once, not just theoretically. He likes to get all the good drivers, drop one, and then condense them and move numbers. I don't like that. Like, I understand it in certain situations, moving numbers might be the best way to go. Like, take Kendrick for this past year. That was the way to go. Drop the 88. That's the way to go. But I think to move
the reason they dropped 88 is because of the Ally sponsor. Ally sponsors the 48 car, so you have to fill the 48.
Right, and I understand that. But at the same time, I think it was right just to drop the 88, bring the 5 back. It was time for that. I think it makes sense. I think it also makes that Larson's car, versus putting Larson in the 88. It's just odd. It doesn't make sense. It feels weird. So that's what I'm saying, though. I think regarding Penske, if they move Blaney to the 2, that just feels weird. That feels
It does.
weird. I don't like that. You're already in the same team. Just leave him in the 2. If you're gonna drop one, drop the 2.
So
Whatever.
they won't drop the 2 because that is the flagship car. That is
That
what
sucks.
Penske. It sucks, yes. But when you think of Penske, you think of the Blue Deuce.
So
What Deuce though anymore? Who gives a fuck now?
True.
They ain't with Miller, so who cares?
That's true.
So I actually think they're going to drop the number. I think Cindric will keep the 33 and stay with Penske because the 22 has become the number one car at Penske over the last couple of years anyways, right?
Yep.
As far as performance goes, yes.
And I
think it's going to continue that way, though, too, for a while.
And I think Penske is starting to look at it that way because the top number in IndyCar as well is 22. It's not 2. So I think they're going to move into that 22 phase in 22. I think that's how they're going to promote it, social media ways as well. I just think they're going to drop the 2, or not. I mean, we could be all wrong, and he stays in the 21, and then Matty D goes to the 2, which I doubt it. I think the person, if they're going to do anything like that, I think they're going to move, like, who's another Ford driver? It's like
Eric Herbst.
Riley Herbst. Go to Penske, please.
I think they would just go back to a 2-car operation if that was their only two choices.
The only thing so this is what I noticed with Penske. Yes, I see where you're coming from with that, Dylan. But I also look back to when Penske brought in Brad Keselowski. They took Kurt Busch out of the 2-car, moved him to the 22.
Exactly.
They moved
That's what I'm saying. I don't
constantly.
like that. I do not like that.
I don't like it either, but that's what I see them doing. They'll rebrand the 12. So I'm not saying they're going to move Ryan Blaney to the 2 team. They'll just do a rebrand. They'll rebrand the 12 as the 2.
Right.
The 2
it'll still technically be the same team, just with a different number.
Exactly.
Right.
And it'll probably honestly maintain the same sponsors, except for during the Coke 600.
I don't like that, man. I just, like you said, it brings back the Kurt Busch situation. It's almost like a slap in the face to the driver that's already there.
It
in
is,
my opinion.
Because because Blaney, I feel like Blaney is making that 12 car his own.
His own, right? Since Newman, he's been the only other driver that's winning there the past 20 years, to my knowledge, I believe,
and done well.
Right. So it's just like, he's making it his own. Why fucking switch it? It doesn't make sense. And I do agree. I think that's what he's gonna do, and I'm gonna fucking hate it because I don't think it's right. I think that's stupid. Like I said, with the Hendrick situation, that's a little different because it works with sponsorships, yada, yada, yada. And then at the same time, it just makes sense in that situation. With the Larson coming in, I think if they put Larson in the 88, it would have not gone well at all.
Or here's something else they could do. Drop the 2, but still maintain ownership of the number. Put Cindric still in the 21, build up sponsor, and then bring the 2 back with Cindric. Go to a 2-car operation for 1 year with the new car coming.
Yeah, but still, what happens with the Benedetto?
The Benedetto's out. I don't think he gets a ride. If he does not stay with Wood Brothers, he doesn't get a ride.
I agree. I think for him to stay in NASCAR, he needs to stay with Wood Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Cindric comes in and takes that ride, there's no better ride he's getting right now because I don't think
Matty D goes to 2311 because of the connection from Toyota with the previous seasons and the friendship.
Maybe, but at the same time, we saw that tweet earlier with Eric Jones and stuff. I really think Eric Jones is going to go there with RPM. I think that is a very high possibility. And if that is, then Matty D ain't going. So
It's hard to say, but this has been a great podcast, boys.
Oh, for sure. Well, it is 2 hours into our podcast.
I think that sets a limit, a record
Yep.
there.
Definitely sets a limit.
Wow.
I think we're gonna start doing 2 hours from here on out.
I'm down.
I just
3 weeks later, we'll be like, we're gonna start doing 3 hours.
Stay up. It's a 24/7 podcast.
Can you send the podcast?
1 year later. Oh my god.
Anyways, I just want to say I appreciate all you watching it. We had 3 consistent viewers the whole time. I appreciate
Hell yeah.
the whole effort. That's really awesome.
I'll be honest, I've been one of the viewers before to see how it works.
Like, are you talking about like before?
Tonight?
I'd watch it. No, I'd watch it on my phone while we're doing it.
Now or no?
No, not today. In the past.
Okay, cool. So we had actual viewers tonight. That's
Yeah.
good.
Gotcha.
I guarantee you one.
Is one of those Kylie though?
No. She
Okay.
didn't watch it today.
Uh,
She's probably big dead asleep. Well, I just want to say peace out, y'all. It was a fun podcast, and HMS for the win.
Fuck HMS, man. Harvick, bro. Harvick.